No, Don's not really
I can pop in and out.
We're doing a track-by-track review, our own personal comments on each of the songs. We play them for you. You get to from this car.
American Egypt
album. I'm sorry.
We've never actually
From this
I'm
car.
driving performance.
My name is Little Caesar. I used to be a pioneer chicken. Scientology. Bought my building. I don't know who I am.
Can you pause it using the steering wheel?
God, what is wrong with this thing?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
All right,
so
we're gonna stop this one and then go to the. We'll do it again. Good. All right. Well, we're gonna start the next song.
All right.
Good.
We got 84 miles before we have to do anything. That's a good amount of time.
Okay, we're gonna start now.
Yes, King Kong hand.
King
time.
Kong hand.
There's the satellite dish bolted on the house next door. It's not even hooked up. The cord's just dangling. You've seen this before. All information, I just can't hold on to it. My mind is not a sieve. My mind's a conduit.
Yes, I paused.
Is it over?
Yeah, that song.
So yeah, I like this song. That song's awesome. And it to me, it gets better the more I listen to it. I just love it.
I was telling these guys yesterday that I saw Mike play this at Largo in LA, and he was there with Dan Wilson and the Watkins Family Hour. And there's a songwriter friend of mine that I know from Facebook who was sitting next to me, and I was kind of, I didn't know how I was gonna take the song because it's wordy. And at the end of the song, he was just like, "Wow," and that was good. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It is. Well, I mean, I feel the same way. Like I'm more like I gravitate towards the poppier stuff, the rockier stuff that Mike has done in the past. But I love like albums like Just Before Dark. I love all that lyrical painting that goes on there. But when I first heard King Kong Hand in Joe's Pub, I felt like, oh man, this whole album combined with like Ninja Turtle and there was another one, even Collins, I think was the other. But it's like, oh, this is Mike at his rambling best. All these like crazy sentences.
Like when he makes the songs up on the fly. That's the best
like
part
the
too.
ones he like writes with he takes all these. He's admitted he carries around a little notebook and he writes all these like cool sentences down. And I felt like a lot of these are.
It feels like a conversation rather than like lyrically. I'm speaking like conversational instead of lyrical.
Well, I think of like,
you know what I mean? Like
Cluster F, right? I mean that song is like so. There's so many like words in that. Like you said, wordy. That's a better way to say it than I'm saying it. But I just thought, oh no, this is gonna be a whole album of wordiness. And then when I got it,
in a good way.
Then when I got it, I'm overwhelmed by it. I feel very emotional towards a lot of these songs. When I listen to King Kong Hand, just like what's going on there. We obviously are taking this journey of Mike's life, and this album is more about crossing over into being 50 and reflecting on the past. And so I'm digging it since we're the same age, and I'm totally getting it. So that's me talking. 6 King Kong 2.
I'm gonna finish this one. We're gonna go to a new one.
Sorry.
So we can do the next song.
Bye. Man that I am, my skinny black jeans. Dun, 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 dun. Ah!
So my brain goes to Mutant Ninja Turtles, which were my favorite toys as a kid. After He-Man, there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember the original 80s, 89 or so movie that came out with the Jim Henson-y costumes, and then there was the second one, which was terrible, and the third one, which is even worse. But it's fun because now I have a 10-year-old.
Thank you, Leonard Maltin.
Say it again?
Thank you, Leonard
Maltin. Once I got out of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, me and my friend Brian growing up, that was our biggest thing. We'd set up, we had between the two of us, we had every vehicle and every figure. and we'd set up these huge battles in his living room. Like, the Turtles would be on the floor, the Shredder and his Foot Clan would be in the shelves.
This is what life is like with him.
The Rock Soldiers, whatever their names were, they were there. And then, like, we'd set it up, and we'd get all ready for this badass battle, and be like, all right, let's go to the park. And crawl
Are we going to talk about the song?
This is why we love him.
This is how it goes. And so I remember...
We're heading up to the song part.
Yeah.
And so we'd sit there, and we'd set up these battles, and then we'd get ready to leave, and the cat would, like, knock things over on the shelf, because they're cats, and they're just vicious.
Jerks.
I got
Pardon my
cats.
language. That was unnecessary. But yeah, so the song is great. That's my favorite. I love the song.
I have none.
How can you
I
top
love the
that?
song.
How can you not have comments?
I don't have comments.
So this is one of these songs. I've heard one of the first songs I think I heard from Rene's recording when he saw Mike
At the Blue Whale.
Illegal bootleg.
and I thought, it didn't really hit me. I mean, if there's any rambling song on this album, it's this one to me. Like a lot of even the sentences don't rhythmically land on beat every single, like a normal song does. But I love it. I've grown to really like this song. I love the hitting 51 this year. I can relate to what he's talking about. Where you're trying to, you want to feel young, but you don't necessarily want to dress.
It takes a lot of work to feel young.
But I mean, you don't want to look like you're trying too hard, right?
Right.
So like you want to fit in, but you don't want to look to the younger ones.
But you also don't want to dress like the old man that you always talked about when you were a kid.
Exactly.
Oh, my dad was his pants too high and suspended.
I don't tuck my shirt in my
Right,
pants.
right.
Anyways, Rene's comments.
I love the song.
I really like the harmonies.
Okay, so we're
Well,
done.
you've heard it way
The
more
harmonies
than
are
us.
beautiful. The other voices.
That's all you can say. This
Yeah, I
is
like it.
lame.
You guys did significant talking.
You'll contribute. It doesn't have to be.
All right, we're gonna finish this one.
Encyclopedia or something.
Ken, follow us to the next one.
Yes.
Song number 4, Collins.
I don't know what to do with myself sitting up here alone. I never cared about the money or the fame. Life's so hard and learns to escape yourself cannot be overestimated.
Man, you know all these
So I'll
words.
see you later. It's a blue, blue world.
It's a blue, blue world.
And I've been there and I've done it. It's a
Noise. I like the background noise. All right.
I first heard this song when Mike did it live at the Blue Whale in LA, which is in
LA.
Little Tokyo.
Huh.
And
Is it really?
yeah, it's
Little
cool.
Tokyo.
Cool little spot. It's a little jazz club.
Check that out.
But anyway, so Mike played there with a couple of guys. The band was there, and anyway, the song for me at that moment was called, It's a Big Blue World. And then he said, "Oh, it's it's called Collins." And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "It's for the astronaut." I'm like, "Oh, okay,
really?
Michael Collins. All right, so it's about an astronaut."
Now it completely takes on a different meaning.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
big
blue
It's
blue
blue,
world.
but-
yeah.
Yeah, but you
You're
said
looking
big
at
blue
it.
world.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, you did.
But anyway,
Say it right, or say
Say it
oh my
right.
gosh.
Got the information.
It's about the astronaut looking down and telling you that he saw things that you can't imagine.
Yeah. Like so many people, like I'm not a huge theme park fan. I mean, I like it. I dig the overall idea.
I was
of
going
it,
to talk about theme parks. My
Well,
God.
no, but hear me out. Like, I always love space and the idea of being an astronaut and going into outer space and everything. But my mom said at some point, like, what could scare you on this planet if you went to outer space and saw this planet from, out there? Like, we're so, you always say, you're so insignificant when it comes to the universe.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, I'm not denying that. But it's just, in terms of the conversation, it was like, why would you be scared of a roller coaster if you just went into outer space? Not just anyone, you know what I mean? Like if you were in outer space
No,
and
that
saw
makes
this
sense,
planet,
actually.
and the planet
Yeah.
was this big from where you are,
Can
now
you have
you're
any
afraid
fear?
of a roller coaster?
Can you have any fear? That's
Yeah,
exactly,
what?
yeah.
I mean, and it can. Obviously, everybody's different, but it just always intrigued me. Like that was such a great concept. Like, what can you possibly be scared of? Like,
Yeah,
you're just in
it
outer
has to
space.
balance your life out and say,
Yeah.
hey, I was in a rocket.
But also, what could excite you?
I'm gonna be okay.
What could excite you? You re-entered
That's
the
true.
Earth's atmosphere. You could have exploded and got set on fire and everything.
Yeah.
And now you're
You've done it
scared
all.
of heights. Like
Yeah. What I love about that, I didn't know that. I never put
Yeah,
all
no,
in.
I-
I wish
I
Nene
wondered
would
why
have
it
said
was
something before
Yeah,
about
thanks,
that.
Renee.
Thanks. You really.
I
Now,
like that, right?
I gotta go back and listen to it.
I'm pretty
again.
sure I did, but anyway.
You didn't.
No, you didn't.
Because everyone
Not to
knows
be
I
honest.
listen very well. So I really love the early '70s vibe to the song. I mean, it feels very God, you can see like Eric Clapton, playing this song. I mean, I love that those little licks where all of them come in on the 4 beat and then the last one comes in on the 3 beat. I just love it. I was just like, oh my God, this song rocks.
But it's still
You know what, this is
great album.
the amazing part of this whole topic and conversation is we're sober. All right,
we're
so
doing-
I'm
we're on the
gonna
phone.
finish this one. And
So
wait.
next is Girl Panties.
Josephine ain't going to school today. Josephine ain't going to school today. She got bad girl panties. She got bad girl panties. She got bad girl panties and braids in her hair.
I think of all the songs on the album, this is the catchiest one. I mean, it's just like you can't not sing that song.
Chord rocker.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I like it. It's catchy. That Batgirl Panties refrain is just like very, very catchy. So I think that, I think all the songs, but
It's the most memorable.
it's the most memorable one that sticks with you like immediately.
So this Mike is the master of making up stuff on the fly, right? And this has that spirit to me. Like I could see like he just made it up, and it's some of his. Let's face it, the Don song is super catchy. And he made that up without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, and the chords in it are great, even though it's just
You're welcome, Internet.
So I heard him do this song, I think, when my son and I were at Old Style Guitar, and I felt like this song, and I remember it because of the Jeff Goldblum part, but I felt like it was made up on the fly. I don't know if it
on the fly, he weaved that in.
But I don't know if it was. I don't know. Maybe Mike will share us.
Just like the fly. And Mike did admit in that post that Josephine did go to school that
Lies!
day. So it's
Lies!
it's a scam.
But I have a 10-year-old boy. I would never sing about his underwear. Just because
Or he would be humiliated.
And he has like fun underwear. Like he has like Spider-Man and stuff like that.
I don't feel like Mike is singing about his daughter's
No, I
underwear.
know, but just
I think it like a girl Josephine.
No, I don't
just
mean
have-
it in any
no, I
type of
know.
negative way. I just say
Yeah.
like I'm not like the type to come up with stuff like that.
Oh,
where
I
you
know.
could just write a song about.
That's why I feel
and
that's why I
kinda
feel like
this-
it came up. Maybe
Yeah,
he was
like that's the-
maybe he was doing it in his day-to-day life, and
inspiration for
the
the
song
song or the
just the
trigger
words
point or something.
came up and
I
it
can't do
fit
that.
a thing, and he used it.
I thought
can't-
maybe she got bad girl panties on Christmas morning and she was eating candy. That's so.
Okay, so we're gonna stop this one and move along.
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna be about Darling, Darling,
Darlings.
Darling,
Three
darling.
darling.
Yeah,
the second,
three
third one is plural. So it's darling, darling, darlings.
Overseas.
Yes.
And I heard him do this one too, and I thought,
Hey, don't talk yet. We got.
Darling, 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 so the seas and the orange trips and the Mexican boys, more importantly.
I'm guessing Darling, Darling, Darlings is his family, the 3 girls in the family. I guess a darling could be a boy too.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's family.
Um,
Or someone you care about.
Family. Darling, I guess he's maybe when he's on tour, Ryan Adams. I don't know. He wrote this song. I will say that this song sounds very McCartney-ish to me. This is very, especially the ending, a little dun 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 dun. That sounds very McCartney.
The whole
Yeah,
lifetime,
but
right?
my impression is that he's a good
No pressure,
family
Mike,
man.
no pressure.
He's a good family man, and even Ryan Adams complained about it. So
Okay.
now that we're over, I know we're over it. I know Renee's like the Ryan Adams police.
It's part of what makes this album awesome. It's probably which is actually funny because we were talking before about I think specifically Ninja Turtle. Todd was talking about how lyrically it's very wordy, I don't know the word to use, but whereas this one just now I'm sitting here really because when I first started I realized I don't really know the lyrics well enough to like blast it out singing.
You
except
know
for
them
the
all.
chorus.
but
No,
it's the easiest song
no,
for
but
him
it-
to learn the
right.
words for because it's
There's
just
like
not
the
much.
least out of all the songs of the album. I think this has the least words in it.
It seems
and
like
I
it,
know.
yeah.
I guess that's the criteria I use with music in general. Would I, when I'm not
Skip it.
sitting down to listen to an album, would I just skip over it if it popped up? And I wouldn't. There's no song on
Yeah.
this album.
Yeah, I
that would
agree
be
with
like,
you.
nah, not right now, or maybe.
I buy
another
that.
day. No, let it play. Let it play. It's cool.
The only thing that I like a song a lot, and I think I heard him play it once at the Old Style Guitar Shop. But the only thing that I noticed about it kind of has a very James Taylor-y lick at the beginning that was kind of struck me as unusual for Mike. But cool. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next song. I'm
Next
gonna finish
is-
this
oh.
one.
Yeah.
That was
All right,
good.
here we go.
So old.
The set.
No, that should
Oh, I
be
love
you.
that song.
All right.
I think that it's a wordy song, and I do feel like some of the words are pretty cool and pretty powerful. It mentions his brother Dave in this song, and then there's an Uncle Dave later in the album.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
But I think that some of the words in here are pretty deep. Where he says that poetry and art, makes a comment about poetry and art being something really powerful, and none of us are really willing to do it, and that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
with
there's a
that.
lot of philosophical stuff in the song.
Or is it just the next thing out of reach? When I grab it, I'm gonna rub it
Yeah,
on my teeth.
yeah, like there, you
that's
rub
heavy, man.
coke on your teeth. Yeah, that's how you do that.
I don't know this stuff.
He's watched movies, I'm sure.
He lives in Ohio.
They do that.
Live in Ohio, we don't have.
There's no
we have-
coke in
There's no
Ohio.
drugs.
Just-
They're the center of the
There's meth.
opioid crisis,
Nothing
but
else.
never mind.
Just meth.
It is a powerful song because, I mean, honestly, we all have somebody in our lives we should forgive.
No, it's my least favorite. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying about it, though. I never thought about. A lot of Mike's lyrics seem very personal, and we either tapped into them or don't. You know, this one I don't get. I don't get what's going on in the song. So
That's, I think, one of the things about songs that we have a divide on, and because we're working together on songs, it's an interesting thing to have to cross. Is that I don't think that songs have to mean anything, and you do.
well, no, that's not correct. I feel I like songs if I understand, even in my own interpretation of what the song is about. I like that. There's some songs on that are big popular songs that I just don't ever get into because I can't relate to them at all. And this is one of these songs. I mean, I forgive certain people. I don't know if I would call them but I mean, there's something obviously going on here in this story that I can't get.
Right.
And musically, it's just not that amazing to me. Now, I love Isabel singing on this. Her voice is so angelic in the song, even with the effect on there. And then Mike comes in, I forgive you. I love that whole part of the song. But it feels like something that could have been off Temple Static or, something more experimental. But I love it for just that reason, that it's one of these kind of discombobulated songs that fits into this White Album kind of mentality.
That
one. So.
I'm an Islanders fan, but
Yeah.
I was raised to.
Oh, he says Bruins? I thought he said
Any-
ruins.
or anything
No,
but-
It changes the whole wording.
Yeah,
It
Bruins.
changes the whole
The hockey
meaning
team,
of the
man.
word.
No,
Because it talks about the chewing
It's like
gum,
a-
the
every-
hockey
bars,
stick
the
wedged
wacky
in the
packs.
door.
Yeah, but I thought he said he was saying that everything Boston ruins.
No,
I thought,
no,
does he
no,
not
no,
like
Boston.
Boston?
No.
No, I figured he was like at
Boston
his
doesn't ruin
he
it.
was
I don't
at
know.
his not his mother's, but he was at a relative's house or maybe his brother's house, and his brother's got all this crap on the wall.
Yeah.
Stuff like that's
I thought it
Come
was.
on, Dave.
Okay,
Come
go ahead. Sorry.
now he hates the song. So.
No, I love the song.
I like that Brother Dave's man. It was nice. Nice that your brothers came to that show at City Winery.
Did you meet him?
I met Larry. I didn't meet Dave. Fucking kid. I mean,
Was
I
he
don't know.
forgiving? I want to know that.
Yeah, I'd like to know this, but it's not super important.
You don't have to tell us, Mike.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it's fine.
But no,
Well-
I dig the song. I think it's one of the more like rockin' tunes, and it's there's something going on, and it comes through in both the music and the singing. So.
Let's go on to the next one. I'm gonna finish this one. We'll start a new.
And I feel like giving up. And I feel like giving up.
I like it. I like the vocals. I like the ambiance, like the whole like kind of airy, spacey kind of feel to it. I dig it. I like it.
The song has a lot of personal meaning for me because you do feel like in your life things aren't going the way you want. Yeah, you feel like giving up. It's like this whole thing is a disaster, So whether you're Dr. Frankenstein, I would imagine he's talking about creating a monster and then not having it work and then having to start over. But if you're not Dr. Frankenstein and you're just a normal person, then you're all going through that self-doubt too. And so for me, I really feel like of all the songs, this is the most meaningful.
to you?
to me.
This is one of my favorite songs on the album. I really love it. It has a really strong Phil Collins vibe to me. Like, it feels like it could be on one of his solo albums or like one of the latter Genesis albums, kind of the mellower songs that were obviously heavily inspired by Phil Collins. When I first was listening to it, I was thinking purely from Dr. Frankenstein's point of view, like when he's by himself and this whole building a monster thing ain't working out. I mean, to me, when he was building a monster, it was like something no one ever did before. And Dr. Frankenstein was taking on a task that was very personal to him, very close, and probably with repeated tries and failures, you do feel like, why the F am I even doing this? You know,
It's kind of like trying to get to the Cleveland airport.
like, geez. I mean, yesterday we did our Mommy Palooza show, and I wasn't very happy with the mix and
The onstage,
through our
the
monitors,
onstage
the
live
onstage
mix.
and I just thought, what the heck? I broke a guitar string. In those moments, you do feel like giving up, and I did feel like, what's the point? You know, you put all this effort into something that fails, it can be a bummer.
When you're building a song, and you're working on a song, and it's not going the way you want it to go, or you're working on a painting and it's not going how you want it to go, you do feel like giving up, and you do feel frustrated because you're like, why am I going through all this effort? You know, and we all go through that as artists.
And it doesn't necessarily mean feel like giving up on life. You know, I mean, I think of Brad Delp from Boston who committed suicide, knowing that Brad, who had such a beautiful voice, and he would kill himself because he was so depressed. Because I know all of us as artists can be up and down, you know, about like what you said, you know, like, and what you said too. So you just sound like, what the point am I even doing any of this? Because it means nothing, you know, unless it resonates with someone.
Actually, can I quote a Blue lyric real quick? It's
No,
something like,
God,
no,
no.
I want to,
Right-
because no,
right
I
for
love
him,
it.
yeah.
But it's a lyric where he says something like, we all want to change the world, but we end up in the bar. Like, we all talk the talk, but it's like, so few people walk the walk. And not every action's going to change the world either. Like, you're going to do something. We're going to do Mommy Palooza every year. And it may not affect anywhere outside of Mommy Palooza, but I take it home with me. Renee takes it home with me. Ken, when you're there, I'm sure you and your family take it home. Like, even just to hang out the first year, I went home, I told everyone I loved. Like, oh my God, it was so much fun. Yeah. And it's this great little town. They have an indoor movie theater. And I went and visited the Botanical Gardens. And it's like a whole new town of like... the Lithophane Museum. Like, but it's true. Like,
He's done more than anybody who lives here.
There's more than what your tunnel vision can see.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this one, and then we'll go to the next one. Next is what?
Snowface.
There's a version of me that's photoshopped into the selective memory that isn't true.
Okay, wow.
My turn.
I love that, like, screaming and...
Me too. I love that. The ending there.
I love the lyrics so much. All the little facets of the little vignettes of each part of the song. If it's, you know, him and his family, and he's trying to catch some time with the, you know, his wife. It's not about the sex, just about being together. You know, grabbing those moments, and I love all the visual imagery of him, kind of flashbacking with his mother and all that. I don't know how many Genesis fans are out there, but the ending to me reminds me of like Afterglow, Afterglow, especially off the 3 Size Live album. It's beautiful. It's like such a beautiful. All those chords are very similar to when I hear the lyrics at the end of the song when he's talking about his mother and snowflakes and shopping. I picture my early days with, you know, my mother and you know how things were simpler, I guess.
You know, as we get older, especially the little things that you remember are not like the everyday stresses and crap and stuff. You remember those little things about your youth that still, you know, are really cool. Yeah, like that.
This is
but I love the mix of this song. Anyway, the voice and the undulating sort of thing he's got going at that little quiet spot. It's
almost like my brain goes to like making out wherever you go and finding like hidden spots, and so one of them being like on a dock, and you know that moment of humor when you make it out, you realize you're being watched on a camera, whether someone's watching it or not. A camera is pointed towards you, so you kind of just wave high and then maybe run off. But also the being afraid part is like
trying to
you enjoy being with each other so much,
yeah.
but like to me, like you're worried like. One of you will make a mistake, like, and it'll just like it'll tear it apart, and you lose it. And stuff. I dig this song. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, let's hit the next song real quick. All right, and we'll
That's it.
finish
Last
this.
one. Sunset America.
There's an old love song. There's a golden pond, New England. Will you remember me in sunset America?
When I first heard this song, it was live at the Blue Whale, and Mike had a full band. And it was a way different song when I saw him do it at Old Style Guitar Shop. He was on guitar with a couple of the guitar players. Oh, I think Larry was there too. But it's just evolved, and so I was interested to hear this one. When I saw it was on the thing, I wasn't sure if it was going to be piano based or guitar based. It's more guitar based, but there's a lot of like almost like a melodica almost. I don't know what time and era he's referring to, or
The Patriots making the Super Bowl,
and it could be very much now.
More of a recent
I think he's
thing.
crossing
Yeah.
time zones, like
But-
the stacked plates thing. But
Like as we're driving through, middle America, Midwestern America, whatever, and it's like, I feel like it's kind of a heartlandy feel, and it just kind of struck me as we're driving through, like, middle America. And
this song it breaks me up. Honestly, I can actually listen to it and start tearing up. Younger, I remember going to my grandma's. Most people, I guess, if they live in the same town, they see their grandma all the time. The imagery that Mike paints in the middle of the song, there's a game on. My grandpa used to watch sports. We never got into it, but I just go back to that time period and the keyboard that you said, Mellotron. My grandma used to have an organ, at her house, and we would play it, and it had that clicky sound of the keys.
Yeah, you can hear it.
the plastic
Yeah,
keys.
it's cool.
And so it's like Mike didn't directly somehow output that into it. You can hear the
He mic'd it.
clickiness
Yeah,
of
he
it.
mic'd the-
So to me, it reminds me of childhood.
So we are kind of wrapping up our little talk here.
it was good timing wise.
It was good.
Even though we've had a lot of fun moments this entire weekend,
Always did.
Mike's music brought us all together.
Yeah, and all of you too. Later.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap up here. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we will see you later.